I may be the only person who cares about this, but obscure Green Lantern history, let's go. At this point in Green Lantern lore, mythos, exploration, it can be said that there are many human lanterns. Some would argue too many human lanterns. They definitely pull a lot of focus, and there's definitely an Earth-centric vibe to a lot of Green Lantern tales. Well, I'm here to tell you about another one. It's a deep cut. We're about to talk about Daniel Young, aka the Cowboy Green Lantern. He was a cowboy, and for a brief blip, he was also a Green Lantern. We've got to go back to the 1980s for this one, and also to a backup story. I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and I just needed to share this with you. The world must know about Daniel Young. Not really, but I want to talk about him. This character was featured in Green Lantern 149 in the story Earth's First Green Lantern, a backup story written by Paul Cooperberg with art by Don Newton and inks by Dan Adkins, with a February 1982 cover date. It's a little bit of a lore revision or addition, and this isn't the first time they would have done this pre-Crisis. The Silver Age's Green Lantern lore very much expanded, from starting off with Hal as the only lantern, to there being an entire corps, to being revealed that there were other people on standby. You got Guy and John, and that's largely what these backups did for a period, tell different adventures of different lanterns in the corps. So this backup is very much in keeping with what these would do. This one is going to introduce the concept of the first human Green Lantern of Earth. We gotta add that. You never know if there are other humans floating around out there. The title is exaggerating slightly, as you shall see. This tale is set in 1873 in Baileysville, and it opens on our protagonist, Sheriff Daniel Young. He's pursuing some bandits when a spacecraft comes down overhead, crashing, and Daniel could not care less. He's very much a man of his time, thus he cannot even imagine the origin of what he has just seen. Shots fired at men of their time. Indeed, he doesn't even try. Blast it, I'll never calm a horse and catch those Stephen Jacksons now. Sheriff Young? Willie Benson, what in tarnation are you doing out here, boy? Didn't you see a sheriff? That thing in the sky, what was it? Don't rightly know, and I don't care. At least not while the Jackson brothers are on the loose. Now you hightail it back to town before your mama gets to worrying about you. But Sheriff Young! I said go, boy. And he is gone, riding off into the barren plains. Daniel Young has no time to conceive of aliens. There are stereotypical bandits on the loose. He is a man who cannot understand evil in others, yet will not tolerate the harming of innocents. Such things sadden and puzzle Sheriff Daniel Young, but does he know what will is? It made it in every time. All of these qualities are making it sound like the Ring just wants somebody who doesn't ask questions. It's not the best sales pitch for the Corps. Daniel sounds like many things confuse him, so he just doesn't bother to think about them. He's a simple man who doesn't want to worry about aliens. But his true puzzlement has not begun. No, not begun at all. Like Hal, Daniel is whisked away, and also they bring the bandit he's capturing with him. He was in the beam area. It's a Blake 7 beam. It's got a rough outline. But he's not just being taken to any injured alien. He's being taken to Abin Sur, because apparently he can't fly past Earth without being injured and crashing on it. Abin Sur is very old then. His species is enviably long-lived. The sheriff is not afraid, but he is cautious. So it is with 6-gun in hand that he steps towards the silent, gleaming tower, only to find inside something he feels he knows would no doubt render that weapon useless. Enter, Daniel Young. You have nothing to fear from me. I'm an officer of the law, such as yourself. I'm not afraid. I know. That is why my power ring chose you. I am Abin Sur of the Green Lantern Corps, wielder of the Ring of Power. It is through that which I speak to you, for my body has been grievously wounded. Abin Sur needs time to recuperate, and so he gives the ring to Daniel, a worthy successor, allegedly. We've seen some of these other stories about worthy successors. Daniel just accepts this and is able to use the ring pretty much instantly to make a horse, because he doesn't want to walk back because they're pretty far. Very practical. The will of Daniel Young, and though he understands it not at all, he accepts. The ring does take some time to educate him on how to use it, even though he was doing pretty well so far, but more targeted instructions, which he will need. As that young boy, that young wannabe sidekick, he fulfills his function and gets kidnapped by the Jackson brothers that Young was hunting. They want to trade their brother, who they abandoned, for this little kid. Now his mom will definitely get to worry. This is time for the thing that is the travesty of this story. Daniel appears in full Green Lantern uniform, and no cowboy hat. Not even a construct hat. He looks like a blonde Hal in these panels. Green Lantern as a series by this point had already flirted with some cowboy imagery, and it would also do so after. When Hal did a cowboy outfit, he made a hat. and a poncho. What we get is Daniel looking like blonde Hal having a good, the bad, and the ugly standoff with the bandits. And they brought guns to a space ring fight or a power ring fight, and so they lose. And by this point, Adam Stewart's all better, and so he takes the ring back, and then he leaves. He had to go, his planet needed him, and he proceeds to tell the ring to never tell Hal. No, he didn't, but it just never comes up. Maybe he forgot. It really was a brief amount of time that Daniel had this ring, to the point where it's questionable whether he needed to give it to anybody at all. I stubbed my toe, gotta give the ring to somebody. That's just a friend taking back what's rightfully his. I hope I did it proud the little time I had it, because I sure was proud to have it. Yep, mighty proud. And then Daniel never thought about it again. Probably. This is very much a backup story. It's rounding out the issue. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's well structured, and there are some fun elements in the imagery of seeing cowboys and Green Lanterns. It's fun together. The narration boxes also get fairly poetic at points. But on the whole, it's not very substantive, and has been confined to the realm of this was a thing that happened, time of recording. Still, there is something interesting about Daniel and how much the story goes out of its way to talk about how he doesn't really contemplate things, how he's not questioning. It really wants to hammer that home. He'll just go along with what is happening. He's not even excited by the power or interested in it. It's just there. It's just a thing that's happening to him. It's equating blankness with strength, and that's fascinating to me. It makes him a little bit unique, even though he's not there for very long. There was a moment, a tease, where it seemed like maybe he'd been brought back, and this was during Grant Morrison's Green Lantern run, but it was a false alarm. On the cover for the Green Lantern Season 2, number 11, from the era where they were doing the season heading for comics, there was a cover with a whole host of Green Lanterns on it, and in the back lurking, if you look, Daniel Young. This was a variant cover, spotlighting a whole host of past Lanterns, so there are a couple of deep cuts on there. Now, he's wearing a cowboy hat, which did not happen in the story with the costume, but also he is the cowboy Green Lantern, so it seems fairly safe to assume that this is Daniel, for who else would it be? The one time I was hoping for an edgy update, like they took him from Earth and they put him in stasis and they pull him out when they need him because he doesn't ask questions. You can play upon the whole idea of he doesn't understand evil, but he doesn't like seeing people be hurt, and so he'll do his duty. He was prepped to be manipulated. This was the run that had alternate versions of Hal and Sinestro sleep together. Daniel appearing would not have been a big leap. Now, does the world need more Daniel Young Green Lantern? Probably not. Especially not with all the other Lanterns running around. Would the world want more Daniel Young Green Lantern? Maybe. But that's probably just because of the cowboy motif. It appears that people are interested in the concept of a cowboy lantern, but not necessarily Daniel, because most people don't know about him. But if someone were to use him, points for the deep cut. I just find it interesting seeing these little bits of lore that have existed and the ones that have fallen by the wayside, and taking a look at them and seeing if there's anything there. So what do you think? More Daniel Young? Do you just want a cowboy lantern, but not necessarily Daniel? Do you think the story is good how it is, just a little backup? Best forgotten. Your thoughts, please. I want to hear them down below. Am I indeed the only person who cares about this? Probably. Put your thoughts down there. While you're down there, please all YouTube things like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time today to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.